Warranted.
Results oated. Right.
Results owed.
Incanter's Flow in no hand's hand. Let's see how Nalguidan gets out of this one.
Still has a mulligan left, though. Full mull. Nope. Oh, okay. That's another good one. Fight fire with fire. Just a different color of fire.
Mm-hmm. In fact, it turns your
It's a gold fire instead of a blue fire.
In fact, yeah, I wonder how he selected his goldens and his non-goldens. They seem extremely haphazardly chosen.
He probably just deck coded it in there.
But which evil person deck coded half of the deck to be?
I'm pretty sure it's the basic set and legendaries that are golden.
Got you. Okay.
Because the players play on like tournament super accounts, whatever you want to call them. I don't know the official name for them. And I think basic cards plus legendaries are golden, whereas everything else is not. That's my theory. I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but
I'm buying into this theory. Any theory will do at this point, especially when the brain freeze on no hand side is a different sort to the brain freeze on Nalguidan's side. One's golden, one isn't. But
all right,
hey.
There goes that. All right, well, we use the scientific method to prove that theory wrong. Cool, science.
Yes, science. Here in Americas, as we are waiting for the age-old resolution to the question of does 2 Incanter's Flows beat 1 deck of Lunacy?
Probably.
Job done.
And the coin.
But those cards could literally be anything. There could even be another deck of Lunacy.
Which is great. Just change all your unknown cards into unknown cards.
Yeah, but we'll see if he decides to go for it at this stage. One thing's for certain is this game's going to ramp up in pace incredibly quickly with both players having access to some powerful turns in the very near future with the discounts that we are currently experiencing.
Nalguidan playing from inside of a lift or elevator today. Let's just shake things up a little bit.
Story. Loot.
Did you translate that for me?
I did, yes.
Okay. I appreciate it. I couldn't possibly know or guess what a lift is.
Yeah, what might it do to you if you were in one?
Well, this is... I guess it's not that awkward, but that's burn that's not going to be going to Nalguidan's face, so... Just wants to kind of clear up this board a little bit.
And this will probably be the Lunacy turn unless he picks up another blast. Oh, now he's got a decision, actually. He was out of things to do until he picked up the font, but we know he likes his tempo, and it makes a lot of sense to tempo against an opposing mage too. Stop those pesky masks from hitting you for too much damage.
Yeah.
You want it? I got it.
At this point, I don't know if it's going to be a Lunacy game unless he feels like he starts falling incredibly far behind. There's a certain point where it's kind of too late, you know? But I don't think we've hit that point just yet. But he's had other, you know, arguably better plays to make from now until then.
I think that font generated those as well, right? It made it so that he's got things to do now with mana for a few turns to come.
Yeah.
No hand's really just waiting for card draw. Now he's got the intellect. That's yuck.
Yeah. With this play, maybe Nalguidan feels a little pressure. Because he does still have all of his 7-cost cards in deck, which with this deck of Lunacy would then turn to Librams of Hope, which are quite good against like a double Lunacy or a double Incanter's Flow Mage, because their only win condition really at that point is burn. problem is he doesn't have card draw. He does have Sage, but that's quite slow as far as just actual card draw goes. Doesn't have like refreshing spring water to draw cards immediately after Lunacy. But he does have a significant health disadvantage here, so he might think about Lunacy.
Yeah. He can ring toss
Because of the
coin
Librams?
if he wants to. If he wants to go that way, he can do both those things just to
Yep.
buy himself a little health, or in the form of counter spells or whatever. So he does go for it. And I think this was almost out of his other options were kind of rubbish, you know?
Yeah.
No easy test here for no hands for counterspell.
Nope. Nope. Nothing to throw that shooting star onto. And I believe the second one was Netherwind Portal.
My shield for
Yep.
Argus.
Okay. Now the lunacy begins.
Fungal Fortunes! What?
Uncle, it's like being in APAC.
All right, Libra of Hope. Libra of
Gets a
Hope.
Libram.
Skull! Hey! You can play it this turn. I don't think he's worried about dying. Ah, maybe he is. Okay.
I mean, you want an 8/8 taunt anyway.
Yeah. I guess you are worried about dying. You see one Fireball, one Apexis, one Mask, so any combination of the last remaining burn spells would have been enough.
Yeah, and you'll get double flow as well, so any card drawing, you might just die.
Yeah.
He looks like he's in a great spot now, right? Like with the second
Oh, yeah.
follow-up.
I mean, No Hands I just don't think has enough damage in the deck. He threw a Fireball at a minion.
Oh, no. I mean, it's the right thing to do, but now he's just going to get another Libram in the face. Okay,
Test
that's
with
the
love.
bad news.
I have a poison.
Okay, he was testing for Counterspell, but
Situation.
that wasn't it.
it's gone a bit badly.
Does give him the benefit of being able to play the Skull. All right, there's a discounted Libram.
What's happening? Do you want Nourish coin?
That's useful.
Works against me.
All right, I think this has to be Astromancer.
Yep.
Nope. Second best is probably Imprisoned Phoenix.
I think it's
But
too slow.
yeah, but he's got double refreshing spring water in the deck. I think at this point he needs to think of highest upside, and I think that's Imprisoned Phoenix.
Isn't he dead though, like always before it resolves? I think he needs to.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I didn't realize that Libram of Hope. It not only is a heal for 8, it also develops 8/8, and he's at 18. So, yeah.
A whirlwind of flavor.
And
This is mask defense as far as he's concerned, right? He knows there's some card on the left that's been there all game, so.
yeah.
One mana, 5 damage to all enemy minions. Seems like a good card.
Yep. Some outs for lethal here.
Name them all.
No. I mean, that's close. That's one off. Actually, cheap spell damage is lethal. Blood Mage Soundness is lethal. Yep. 'Cause that's 7 plus 3.
It's 10.
Yep, actually has a ping as well because of the discounts. So there you go. The definitive best Mage player in America's Grandmasters. After that one game sample size. Nalguidan, congratulations.
Yep, there you go, Nalguidan. Best Mage player in Americas for forever now. That's it.
Yep.
Or maybe next week. Or
Nope. That was it. It was that one game. No Hands can't earn it back, even if he wins another Mage Mirror. We have to have a whole full another season worth of sample size. And then if they're the 2 highest Mage win rates after that with a significant sample size, then we'll get to have one more game to determine it.
another Mage breaker to see who it is. In terms of the match, it makes quite a big difference as well, but not a huge difference because they both got priests, which lines up quite badly against the Mage. So,
well, it depends
we're not last
which
heroing now.
Depends which priest.
Also true.
Because I do think the matchup has flipped a little bit recently with how the priests have been building, and yeah, I do think that this one is a good matchup for the priest.
Which one do you think is a bad matchup? Curious as to where you think it's flipped around.
Like Cthulhu with like anti-aggro stuff. I don't know.
Light shower, that
but
sort of thing, maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, he's got an Ogremancer. He's got light shower. Like, there's so much room for just like additional healing and not enough devolving missiles on the face of the planet. To be able to get through all of that healing, right? There's always Deck of Lunacy stuff that can change things, but I do think that having access to additional minions like this, always the Mage always feeling forced to throw burn damage at minions,
right?
I think that does make the difference.
And I do agree with the bit you sort of glossed over a bit there as well. Deck of Lunacy, if the Mage plays that against the Priest, sure, it can do some crazy things and win the game, but the Priest tends to not mind it. The Priest tends to be able to deal with the few threats that are generated, even though they're cheap and efficient threats, because there's quite a lot of whiffs in a Deck of Lunacy over the course of 30 cards.
Well, we're not even get to see that.
Boo.
Because not last year's standing.
Oh, we get to play the game!
Yes, we do. However, I do feel like because this deck again plays a little bit more minions, and also like South Sea Scoundrel is sneaky good in this matchup. I feel 'cause it's a 5/5 on turn 4, and who cares about like them drawing a card because they draw enough cards, right? It can even make things awkward for them. It could ruin their plan for outcasting things and give Priest access to some additional tools. So even outside of Mindrender or Lucia, which is the game you're referring to, I do think that because of all just the kind of beefy things Nalguidan plays in this Priest deck, that we could see a pressure plan start to work. No Hands, though, does have actually a really good hand, I think. An easy way to outcast that skull that's already in hand. Some really good cards to dump. Even though dumping Immolation Aura in this matchup can sometimes put you in some trouble, right? If you're looking at the pressure plan, your goal is to kill them before that would matter. So, but I think No Hands has time to like piece together what kind of game plan he wants to go for.
Yeah, he didn't dump it immediately. He can actually get some Eldraki into Immolation Aura vague value along the way without wasting any time. Obviously, that's a thing. Lucia has the one time we don't play the how many roads to Lucia, it turns up. So Nalguidan's going to have to try and time that, and that is, of course, what we were referring to a moment ago. Lucia just usually means the Priest wins. If you don't get a Lucia, it usually means the Priest loses. And what TJ's been describing is that this deck can win with minions because there are some actual value minions in the deck. But Lucia is route 1.
Yep. And it is about timing, right? Because there is potential that you could play a Lucia, steal some combo pieces, but not hit Il'gynoth. And because OTK Demon Hunter does run redundancy with their combo, maybe there's a chance that you don't dump your pieces. But some reps on the deck will give you a better sense of like when they're, like how long they've been holding on to certain cards, right?
Yep.
and how much mana you have, right? You want to wait until not really the last possible moment, but as late as you feel you can with how many cards they've been holding, how many discounted cards they've been holding, and also like Moargs that are being copied, etc.
And with that in mind, that's actually going to be difficult right now, I think, because No Hands has just dumped a load of stuff and he's going to play a skull. That tells you almost nothing. You know, so Nalguidan sensibly proceeding with Plan B whilst waiting for Plan A to do its thing. Because he's got no read at all right now. Well, he has. He knows this is a skull, and now his reads are gone.
Warlock.
And your reference to the last possible moment, you know, I realise you caught yourself, but now there's no point just immediately Eluciating here and hope to hit something. You're probably not dead next turn, and you're probably not dead the turn after that, and then you've got to start worrying quite a bit.
And Nalguidan's follow-up isn't like the best to this, right? Because things are still in range of like potential Immolation Aura with additional spell damage.
Yeah.
Probably just Draconic Studies.
Yeah. The other two just sort of didn't do anything. You're not leaving a Moag on the board, even silenced, probably. This is interesting because he may have to use his reduced cost Arcanist, which gives information to Nalguidan about one of the reduced cards.
You're paying for my discretion.
Org Merchant, sorry. Yeah.
That's 2.
Job's done.
Okay, so he knows he's not dead. He doesn't have to go now.
Yeah. Yeah, these are things, it's easy to say it quickly. Hey, you just play Elucia at the right time, and when you can see both hands, that's really trivial, but there's a lot of things he has got to actually factor in here as he goes. But like you say, he now knows that only one card is reduced, so he's good for a while.
Yeah.
And we will see him rope quite a bit from this point on, I should think, because he wants to double check and triple check that, because if he gets it wrong, he loses the game.
I just like an 8/8 here.
Yeah, hit him. I just want to play the Sethek as well, because hit him. Like, the game won't go long enough either way for your Sethek to accumulate a lot of value, so just put it on the board.
To linear thinking.
Trinkets!
There you go.
Yes. Again, we can go to the world in some situations, and it's not there just yet, where Nalguidan might be able to play Elucia as a closing card. We've talked about it. It doesn't happen that often, but he doesn't have much removal in his hand, so there's some worlds where next turn he just goes Condemn. He has to get rid of the Soul Mirror first, of course, but there's some worlds where he just goes Condemn, Mind Render, and that's the end of the game. You can just keep an eye on that.
I see.
Okay.
Oh, yeah?
Makes it harder for No Hands to win now, because Nalguidan, anytime he panic Elucias, wins the game now with the Il'gynoth. He's kind of, as No Hands in the ideal world, you would draw into that Il'gynoth on the turn you kill your opponent. Favouring this over the Raised Dead because he doesn't take any damage. Damage does actually matter significantly. There's certain breakpoints, 24, 36, that you want to avoid. But he got nothing because he doesn't want to play that and give No Hands a card because No Hands is struggling for cards.
There's no discounted. This is just. He has to go for it. And then this might be the turn that Nalguidan decides to go for it. But philosophy, double philosophy, not copying anything. And there's one talented Arcanist left. There it is. It's discounted.
Nalguidan will see that wasn't copying anything as well. So it's a hard decision for Nalguidan to make, actually, because he knows there was no Moarg in hand at the start of that turn. There's only 8 cards left.
He theoretically could be dead.
Yep.
And he could go, if he saw Il'gynoth here, he could pick it, then Mind Render, then dump the Il'gynoth. So it looks like he wants to Mind Render this turn.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we'll see the Il'gynoth. Easy decision. And gets a bunch of other stuff to dump as well.
Taking his time. I like to see this. This is a Nalguidan that I feel we didn't see for many years. The one that just does that extra security check under pressure.
My curse burns
Yep, making sure
For my discretion.
to get rid of everything. It's not complicated, but is there anything weird that can happen here with Soul Mirror creating an Il'gynoth for No Hands and he kills everything else?
No.
There's no way that he can set it up so that he has an Il'gynoth and Nalguidan has no way of killing the Il'gynoth, right? I'm not sure, because the Condemn's kind of the only way right now.
Actually, he can. Right?
Yeah, he can kill the minion. I wasn't sure he could kill the 3/4, but he can, because that's how Hearthstone works.
There he goes condemn and then hits.
Can't hit them both, though.
No.
So close! I guess he just killed the 3/2 and... As things stand... Yeah, as things stand, Nalguidan can't kill your Il'gynoth. Okay.
There you
I don't know
go.
how he wins the game, but yeah. Okay.
Oh no,
Damn
I
it.
still can't do it. Oh no, he can. He can. But Master Charmer will just attack the Il'gynoth. Could also find like Holy Smite from this Wand Maker. There's multiple ways to get there.
Yeah, No Hands had no philosophies left and doesn't have a Moarg and a million other things as well, to be fair. But it was amusing me. We've seen No Hands win this so many times from weird positions that I now instinctively look for the how will No Hands win this game.
You don't pick the one.
Oh, no Apotheosis. Apotheosis would have been amazing on Samuro here because he might have actually just won the game with his own combo.
Oh yeah. That would have been 15
+4 to face, yeah.
+4 and then a heal. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd have been
That
it.
would have been lethal. That would have been lethal.
Amusing. But Nalguidan looking like he's going to go to 2-0 up. He is still fighting for that that first round bye for the top 2 players. He's in a bit of a tussle with Eddie and Luna and Rami, all of whom can still take that spot. So yeah, he needs to keep the pressure on those players. Is Throwglaive your favoured card in this spot? Like, you can put anything in this slot. But...
Yeah, it just helps you not have to use Immolation Aura in some spots, which has way more power with more Talented Arcanist. So, No Hands has that remaining in his deck. So, Illidari Studies is the X factor here.
Yeah, Chaos Strike's not far off lethal either.
Yeah.
He might
So, yeah, well, I mean, there's 8 damage on board, 9 with hero power.
But how?
Chaos Strike would be 11. So, I think there. Is there any? There's the weapon for Outcast that deals damage. I mean, I think he just nods Dormus and then heals.
Guide my hand.
In
Or
this
he raise
situation.
deads and loses. I can raise
Or
dead
he
and
raise
try
deads and
hit
possible loses.
Raise dead Summer Apotheosis is...
Yeah, but I think that's too risky.
You can also Apotheosis the 4/4 and Shadow Earth Death it.
Yes, but how?
He may even need to like apotheosis this. Yeah, just so he can't. It's harder to clear it off the board to give apotheosis target. So there are lethal outs here. It needed to be Chaos Strike into Illidari Studies and then Illidari Studies into damage like the weapon.
Yep. Oh. So now you go for the Naviute play where you just dump everything on the board and hope your opponent concedes.
But that's insane. Like he got to a point where his Il'gynoth was mind rendered. Many of his combo pieces were mind rendered, and he still had lethal outs off the top.
Yeah.
It was a string of lethal outs. He needed exactly Chaos Strike off the top, and then into exactly Illidari Studies.
The wand.
But it was possible.
I think it may still have been possible until this Holy Smite was picked up. Because of all the double damage things going on. I may be wrong there.
I mean, there's nothing that could go face that would
Can't
deal double
generate
damage.
any face damage? Sure. Anyway. It's tidied. Oh! Don't do that.
I think he's fine.
I don't want it to be close.
11 is the maximum reach.
No time.
Is there any way he can kill the 10-9 without activating the lifesteal? The Moag. And get 2 attacks in with this board.
No! You'll pay for that!
He still had chances here. That's not the card he needed.
Nope.
If he could have killed this off, yeah, if he could have killed this off, then he would have been able to actually try and get it done with minion pressure.
I am out of cards.
Alright, this needs to be good. I-beam kills the minion. Do you want to overkill it by 1 or 2 with your face and lose a minion?
I feel like he needs to hold on, keep these minions alive, right? All of them.
Yeah.
It's the recurring damage because he needs at least 2 turns.
But 2 damage is so much to give up here.
All right.
Oh, he's giving... Okay, yeah, he's going this way. This is fine. Just put it all in there and let your opponent trade in.
There haven't been any taunts that have died.
Why won't you give up no hands? How do you always get into these, like, such good positions with nothing? I mean, he only has to kill off 2 minions, then no hands can't even raise the natural heal, right? So, but he can't play Ugginoth to challenge them. That's the amusing part. I mean, he can, but then he can't heal.
Nah, it's still just N'Zoth. He kills both minions next turn, and then just heals face every turn to outpace the hero power.
Yep, he got there.
Oh. I mean, that was real close, though. That was real close. Lethal outs for no hands for 1 turn, I think, and then even at the end, 1 damage off of lethal. If Nalguidan had kept drawing dead there was a chance that no hands could have taken it, but close doesn't matter in this situation. And Nalguidan takes the 2-0 lead in the series. Only the Demon Hunter left for himself, which is a great spot to be in.
Absolutely, yeah. Demon Hunter, in Americas at least, has just been a really consistent, strong deck, I feel. And not so much necessarily in the other regions. I feel it's just been sort of average in those, but we have seen a lot of players do very well with this deck, so should be able to take one down, but he is playing against the best player in the region. I don't know how much we've seen Nalguidan on the Demon Hunter. Not at all. First time he's brought it by the look of it. Checking that. But... oh, he brought it week 5, but it got banned all the time.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he's practiced on the deck. He's a very methodical player, which is how you need to play this deck and the skill set you need to have to play this deck. So we shall see some tough matchups on the other side, though, right? He's got a mirror matchup. He's got a priest from no hands, and then mage. But it has to be 3 in a row against OTK Demon Hunter for no hands, which 3 games for Nalguidan to just hit the nuts once. It's going to be a tough uphill battle for no hands to overcome, and I believe he's going to queue up Mage first, is what I've just been told. So I think that's the toughest. Sometimes you can't get enough burn over the top before they can start healing out of range and piecing together their combo. They always have the option to just kind of go for essentially a full reset. You throw a bunch of burn. If you're not killing them, then they could just use like Moarg, Talented Arcanist, or multiples of each of those pieces in an I-beam to heal back up and negate a lot of the burn that you threw at their face earlier on.
It's interesting when I learned this matchup. It's one of those matchups that when you first play it, you're like, how do I ever beat this mage? Like, it's unbeatable. It just burns me out. And then you realize, oh, I know. I time my healing, and they have to burn me for 59. Obviously, that's pushing it a bit close. But you know what I mean. And yeah, like you just said, it's just too difficult for the mage a lot of the time. That's if you've got all the healing, of course. Sometimes the mage does just do this. Put a font down, hit you with 2 minions, then burn you down and you lose. But it's tough. It's a great deck, actually, to play if you do want to play Demon Hunter. One of the great things about it is you can just practice it by queuing ladder, and you have 1 or 2 bad matchups, but they're not particularly common. So you do just get to do your thing, ignore your opponent, and learn your deck. So you can learn it quite quickly over not that many games.
Yep.
Unlike, say, Warlock, where you spend half your life just being blown up or hit in the face or whatever when you're trying to do your stuff.
Minions is a way that you can get there.
Nalguidan's hand is... I don't know what's going on here. They're going to have a minion fight in this matchup, which seems the craziest thing. But yeah, 2 hands are just conducive to this.
Yeah, it does have acrobatics, but Weird part about this, got Fellscreen Blast, double Talented Arcanist. So skulls are going to have to be played from the right side, which is, or most likely played from the right side, which is tough, you know, because you can't control your draws. You can't empty cards out of hand. Unless you draw it on 6 or get Illidari studies and pick it up, right? Those are ways to be able to do it.
That's kind of the situation he's in now. In fact, I think the reason he's considering not playing the card draw right now is because he doesn't want the skull to be the first card drawn right now. Fine if he draws it off the top. If he draws it off any other means, it might just get buried in the middle of his hand forever. And I think that's why he's not playing the acrobatics. He doesn't want to draw too many cards if the first one's a skull.
Oh, it's an eye beam. Could still be a skull.
That'd be good. Exactly what he needs, obviously. He needs a lot, actually.
For no hands here, I think you just coin out the Kuldara Drake. Big minion.
Yep. These aren't fun to deal with, especially for a 5-card hand on the Demon Hunter. I agree with you.
Alright, Spectral Sight's something.
Yep.
I see.
Playing that the skulls first card. And it is.
I bet you can do this.
It's going to be interesting to see how he maneuvers the next few turns, because he's got to, like you said earlier, he's going to have to play from the right.
Yeah.
And that's
I think
no fun at all.
as long as he finds dumpable cards over the next couple turns, the skull may be possible. Also a situation where he could just operate with only Moargs and Ethereal Aug Merchants and use the second Talented Arcanist and actually use all of these cards that are to the left. Right.
Yeah. We'll know if he plays acrobatics or not what he's thinking, I think.
Oh, worked out perfectly! What? The counterspell working against No Hands there because there's no, I don't think there's any low cost enough outcast cards in that situation that you could dump that don't also replace themselves.
Yeah, unless he hits the other skull, like that, a new skull. That was it.
Unless he hits a new skull, yeah. Which, you know, could have been the case as well, but
funny.
Obviously it's a counterspell. So hits Ethereal Aug Merchant. Philosophy is not that great to be discounted because you're usually going to be dumping those prior to your combo turn anyway. But Ethereal Aug Merchant does offer him a little bit of wiggle room as far as like breakpoints with the combo. But usually, you know, you don't need that much to kill Mage because they're not gaining life ever.
Well, we're in that spot you talked about, and No Hands did look up to the sort of the air to just sort of say, I don't know if this is right or not, but I'm doing it.
He's got double fireball.
Opponent. Yep. But it's also a waste against healing, but it's going to be a bit of a convoluted play if Nalguidan can heal back up from here. It'll take away a lot of his resources to do that. And I think the key decision is No Hands has a lot more gas where that came from as well, with cram sessions plus lots.
Yeah. So next turn, only one of these marks is discounted because it's from the Raging Fellscreamer. So could Philosophy play 2 marks for 6 mana, Ethereal Aug Merchant, Talented Arcanist 8 mana, and then Fellscream Blast. So would have lethal next turn. Just needs to survive. So I think you just I-beam this and then Hero Power and attack face. And then hold on to both philosophies in case another ring toss comes out and you need to dump one for counterspell.
Yep. That's where he's going.
Yep. And that should be lethal next turn.
Amazing. Seriously, like, Nalguidan as it's easy where we're sat. We can see the maximum is 12. It's 2 fireballs, and top players will be able to work that out pretty quickly as well. But it's always scary leaving yourself very close to the dead. So nicely done, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Very convoluted way to say nicely done, but I hear you.
The lab partner into cram session into spring water, but he's not got any reductions, so that doesn't work.
Yeah, I think he's just dead.
Time runs out
And of
on
course, we know he's dead. He's also got to live in the world where he knows he's dead really, but he doesn't know it for fact, so then he still needs to set up for next turn just in case.
Yep. Maybe hope that playing for one secret here for counterspell would be able to block the combo and buy himself a turn. His next turn he would have exactly 14 with lab partner plus double fireball. So, I mean, I think that's his best out, right? Is to just hope that he gets counterspell, hope that the counterspell blocks the combo is there, and set up for a 2-turn lethal without playing a minion to give over to Nalguidan to heal. So, a nice turn by No Hands, given the situation he was in, right? A very tough situation, but just not going to be enough.
You're paying for my discretion.
So the things, the philosophy's in the right order, which is the one way you can throw this. Play them after you play your Arcanist. It's always fun when you get your philosophy plus 3 spell damage or something.
Yeah, very useful, incredibly useful. But yeah, so that's Nalguidan taking the win, keeping the dream alive of tying for first place. We said at the beginning of the broadcast, No Hands has locked up, at the very least, a tie for first place. And the only reason it wouldn't be outright first place would be if Nalguidan wins the weekend. He's at 20 points. Nalguidan with that win is at 17. So unless it's a first place finish, it's not 20. But either way,
Still has better tiebreakers even after all that because of his 2 semi-finals.
yeah, but it's about pride.
But about the pride, yeah, Nalguidan will have to say you didn't outpoint me, and who cares about your silly tiebreakers? Because we all know that tiebreakers are always arbitrary. So
Yes, that's right. First and second place both get the same seeding advantage in the playoffs. But I do think No Hands, played that as best he could, right? The pre-game even having a chance to win from that situation after being bind rendered, incredibly impressive. And it was a 3-0, and so the score doesn't feel close, but each game was close in its own right. I do like the fight that he put up, and No Hands has had a heck of a season.